You are listening to When Life Gives You Lemons, the podcast that speaks to high-performing individuals who have been through adversity but come back stronger. I'm your host, Emma Levy, a physiotherapist who has helped elite athletes on their way to Olympic success. This podcast was born following my own trauma when I was diagnosed with breast cancer at the age of just 36. Sat in the chemo chair, I set myself the goal of starting a podcast to explore resilience and the power of mindset. Before I introduce today's guest, I just want to take a quick moment to thank you for listening. Please do remember to press the follow button, which you can find on all major listening platforms. Also, a reminder that you're able to watch all of our episodes on YouTube, and you can subscribe there as well to make sure you don't miss any of our new content. You can also follow us on Instagram at Life Lemons Podcast. Now on with today's show. Today I'm welcoming Noah Williams to the podcast. Noah is a British diver who won not one, but 2 medals at the Paris Olympic Games. He won a bronze medal in the 10-metre individual event and a silver medal alongside Tom Daley in the 10-metre synchro. In fact, he is only the 3rd British diver to ever win 2 medals at the same Olympics. Outside of the Olympics, Noah is a multi-medalist at European, World and Commonwealth Championships. But the path hasn't always been easy for Noah. And alongside these exceptional accomplishments, he has had some significant challenges along the way. Since Paris, Noah is now taking a well-deserved break from diving and is throwing his hat into trying some other sports. He climbed Mount Kilimanjaro, competed in a high rocks event, tried snowboarding for the first time, and is running the London Marathon in a couple of weeks. Noah, thanks so much for coming to talk to us today.
No problem.
How are you enjoying your break from diving?
I am enjoying it. I'm just being unemployed for a bit, basically, but trying to make the most of it. Yeah.
Once an athlete, always an athlete, hey?
Maybe. I don't think that's true because my physical shape is not as good. I do not look as, I don't know, sexy as I used to.
Maybe in your eyes.
Maybe.
So what are you doing to stay fit? You've obviously got the London Marathon coming up. What are you doing training-wise?
Yeah, so I should be running a lot more. I actually started running and then I got runner's knee, which I told you, and then I asked Britt, who's my weights coach, from diving, and I've started doing twice a week weights. And then since that, whenever I've gone on a run, no pain.
Oh, that's a surprise.
I know, look at that. So, but then I haven't done that for the last week. So I'm just doing not much right now, but that's what I should be doing. I
mean, I'd like to say it's your taper week, but it's not even your taper week, is it?
No, yeah, we're a while off that. Yeah.
And what is the longest distance you've done so far?
I think it was about 24K. It was definitely half marathon because I got to half marathon. I was happy, but then I did one loop and back. So it was maybe around that, yeah.
So you only need to double it.
Exactly, yeah.
And are you running alone or with anyone?
Oh, hopefully running with Lucy, my girlfriend, but depending on the start times because I have no clue how it works.
Yeah, you might not be starting together, but who knows?
So if we don't, I'll just run quick, get to the end.
And are you aiming for a time? I
wanted sub 4. Lucy wants 4 hours 15. So if I run with her, obviously that will be the thing. But if not, I'll try and get sub 4.
Yeah.
They have pacemakers, don't they?
Yes.
Yeah. So I say easy, but you just kind of follow them in my head.
Do you feel confident going in then?
I mean, I just feel worst comes to worst. I get really tired, my knees hurt, and I'll just walk the rest of it.
Yeah.
Because I know I can at least get halfway.
Yeah.
And then, I'll be fine.
So I did it last year and it was after halfway. I must admit, I really struggled. It was as I hit that 13 miles, I was like, oh my God, I've got to do all of this again.
Yeah. People have said to me 13 miles is kind of the wall, the sticking point.
Well, a lot of people prepared me for the 18-mile wall, but for me that 13 miles was oh my God.
Yeah. So
but you'll be fine.
No, not looking forward to that, but I'll be okay.
And are you fundraising for a charity?
Yes, I'm fundraising for Great Ormond Street Hospital.
Okay, and is there any reason why you chose Great Ormond Street?
Yeah, so my sister, her life was saved there at the hospital. So she was born only a couple weeks premature, but she was born with jaundice and she was really unwell. And then basically a few weeks after that, she got dismissed, went home, then she became really unwell again and basically was rushed into, I believe, Queen Elizabeth Hospital, and they stabilized her and then referred her to Great Ormond Street. And she was, like I said, really unwell for a while, got a bit better, unwell, and they thought she was going to pass away. So she got put in the ward where it's your last night. But then she miraculously got better, and then she's had lots of surgery. She's getting hip replacement pretty soon.
Oh,
Like
wow.
it's going to be one of those ones like the whole life.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
have surgeries, you've got issues, but
Yeah,
at least she has a life.
She's got cerebral palsy?
Yeah, she has cerebral palsy.
Okay, so do Great Ormond Street still look after her?
No, so she was in and out for the first 8 years of her life.
Mm-hmm.
And then now she kind of just lives with what she's got.
Yeah.
But at least, like I said, the first 8 years were a lot more and obviously traumatic for my family. So raising money for them.
Yes, that's quite a special charity to you. I will very happily put the link to your charity in the show notes. But your sister, so growing up, is she older than you?
Yeah, I'm the youngest.
Okay, so how old were...
Oh, so she's 94. So she's 6 years older than me.
Okay, so growing up and she has significant disabilities, do you remember that being a challenge for you?
Not so much for me. It was more like, I think... Like my parents had to give her more attention, and it's not that they, love me or my other sister less, but like she needed the help or attention because she couldn't do a lot of stuff that like we find normal herself. Like if I wanted to go to the park with my friends, like just round the corner, I could do that, but she couldn't, and they'd have to take her out to friends, or people would have to, or like she couldn't go over to friends a lot of the times because maybe their parents thought it was like a burden on them because then they couldn't do, I know people work from home, but they couldn't do that because they thought they'd have to keep eyes on her. So it was definitely more burden on her than it was on me. But like on my family as well, my parents obviously mainly, it would like, not a burden, maybe the wrong word, but
yeah, but it's a
an
challenge.
extra toll, yeah.
Does she still live with your parents?
Yeah, she does.
Yeah. I mean, I often talk about elite athletes being resilient from things that happened earlier on in their childhood. Do you think the challenges that came with this might have kind of given you a bit more resilience, which drove you in your diving career? Do you see any relationship there?
I think maybe like at each stage when people might find things difficult, like it was also easy for me to remember how lucky I am. Like even to be able to go diving, and if like, have a bad competition, people think it's the end of the world. But like, I'd go home and see my sister, and like, not that it's not the end of the world, but like, I am genuinely lucky to just be able-bodied. And obviously it's easy to forget that stuff like that. It's easy to get complacent with loads of things in life. But like having the constant reminder that definitely changes, I guess, my mindset compared to most people's.
Yeah, it helps you rationalise it, doesn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
I've spoken to a lot of athletes on the podcast, and they say that even when they go through like minor injuries, it helps them put things into perspective as well for people that aren't able-bodied, how difficult life can be.
No, I mean, obviously, when was it? Like a year and a half ago, I had a surgery on my ankle, didn't I? And you were helping with that. And I only had crutches for like 2 weeks, and it was just so tough.
Yeah.
And yeah, like I said, it just reminds you how lucky you are.
Yeah, I mean, you haven't had an easy run with injuries.
No, definitely not in the lead up to Paris. I had like a surgery a year for like the 3 years leading into it.
A surgery, yeah. I think some people don't realise how much you guys put yourselves through physically.
Yeah, it's very strenuous, diving. But I think as well, people don't realise, especially say you just watch the Olympics, like diving doesn't have a huge fan base apart from the Olympics. But people see you on that day and they just assume like, oh, like you're always, I don't know, that fit, you're always good. But there's like so much that goes on behind the scenes anyway.
Yeah. Well, I read that you didn't eat chocolate or drink alcohol for, was it 18 months leading into Paris?
Yeah, it was something like that. It was just over a year. So maybe like 14, but yeah, I basically decided like, because Tokyo went so badly, I was like, I want to kind of give everything. And I thought this was my peak age for diving. So I was like, when I say give everything, I mean, I want to do every single little thing I could do to going into Paris. So then if I came, I don't know, sixth with, like obviously I was doing it with Tom at that point, but if I came sixth and then, I don't know, 10th in individual, I'd still basically be able to be happy. And I wouldn't leave being like, oh, what if I did that? Or what if I did those extra little days of prehab or whatever. So that's why I did that. So like, it wasn't something that you get forced to do, but I was glad I did it.
Yeah, so you just put everything into it.
Yeah.
But as well, how challenging is it that it's an aesthetic sport and you're standing there just in your Speedos? Does that put an extra bit of stress on it? Like, are you worried about how you look?
Yeah, I am. I don't know if everyone is. Like, obviously for girls, I think for them it might be maybe more difficult. But then at the same time, obviously, at least they have like a costume. They're covered a bit more. But like when just Speedos, I'm quite, not self-conscious is the wrong word, but like I'm quite wary that you're literally being judged on how you look. And obviously that's not the main thing. You're meant to be judged on the dive, but like the judges self-consciously will be marking everything.
Yeah. And that's hard not to take that outside of your sport, I imagine.
Yeah.
So
I mean, I definitely have body dysmorphia.
Oh, you think you do?
Yeah, for sure. And like, I've not been diagnosed or anything, but like, I like hate the way I look 90% of the time. And it's only like after, like, even in Paris, I didn't like how I looked.
Oh, really?
But then like now, how long has it been? Like 8 months or so? I like look back and I was like, wow, I was fit then. And I'm not now. And I, like I said, I think I'm fat now. But then, I don't know, if I like get to how like 35 or something, just because I'll be obviously different shape anyway, no matter what I do. I'll look back and be like, oh, I was fit then. So I've done that constantly throughout my life. But I think it started because I did get called fat when I was younger.
Did you?
Yeah.
From school or diving?
Nah, diving. But like I said, it's like, it's harsh, but not that it's, I'm not saying it's harsh, but it was true. But like,
who called you fat? The coaches or other athletes?
No, but other athletes joked about it because I got called fat. But like, yeah, mainly coaches.
But do you remember them actually calling you fat as a kid?
Yeah.
Wow. Were you fat?
Probably. Like, but when you say that, people are like, oh, no, you weren't. But I wasn't. Like, you look at other divers as well. I'm not as fit as like Kyle. He's obviously super slender and fit. Like Tom. Like, I'm not saying genetics, but they are fit. Like, no matter like if they eat healthy to get there, they are like that. So then, if you're not like that, you don't fit in.
Yeah. But you do have an absolutely ripped body.
Oh, not right now. I'm telling you.
Well, in your opinion, but potentially, you know, you are still, you know, but it is a challenge. And I don't know. I think it's getting better in the sports world in that coaches now, I don't think would turn around to a junior diver and call them fat.
No, I don't think so either. But I think that's more socially unacceptable.
Yeah.
Which is a good thing. But at the same time, and I'm not saying they should do this because I had it and it was horrible, but like we said, it is an aesthetic sport and you do have to change how your body looks. And then it becomes really hard because they don't say stuff like that. So like when I was like got called that, then it becomes a wake up call and say, oh, I need to be healthier. I need to go home. Like if I want to take diving seriously, I do have to, you know, get slimmer basically.
Yeah.
But then if it becomes to a point where you can't say it anymore, it's then going to be like, well, the diving quality just won't get better. So it's hard to balance.
Line.
There is a really
I think there's a really fine line between, you know, calling someone fat and are they athletic enough potentially? You know, are they fueling enough still though? Because we know about the potential risks now that if you don't fuel enough as an athlete, you can really like affect all of your multi-systems.
Yeah.
So, but I'd like to think we're getting better in the health and wellness and the coaching world in encouraging and in educating our juniors early on.
Yeah.
But Paris wasn't your first Olympics, was it?
It wasn't, no.
No, you mentioned earlier you went to Tokyo and that didn't go quite to plan.
No, yeah, it went horrendously.
What actually happened?
I don't really know. I've actually never watched it back and I've never watched a single dive back. All I know and can remember is, so the first dive went bad and then after that I was a bit like thrown off, but then the second dive also went bad, but then the third dive was good. So I was like, okay, I'm like making my way back into it. I was in like, I think at that point I was either in the top 18 or like just out. So I was like, you know, we're halfway through. I can definitely make the semi-final. And then my next dive, I like went like dangerously close. And if you go like close, I nearly hit my head on the board. You get like twos. So like the majority of the judges thought, so I got a few twos to count. And then at that point I was like out. And yeah, it's one of those things where like, even on the day, it was more like a self-fulfilling prophecy. I was like so nervous and like, so like not in the right mindset going into the competition, that it just like was never going to go well in hindsight. But like on the day, I like, even now I don't know like what exactly went wrong.
Yeah, but you were young.
Well, maybe like 21.
Yeah, but like you just said, you were nervous.
Yeah, but everyone's nervous. Like even second Olympics, you're still gonna, no matter how many Olympics you do, because you want, well, I say you're always gonna, if you want to do well, realistically, you'll probably be a bit nervous.
But who knows whatever happened back then.
Exactly.
And then obviously at that games, Tom Daley won the gold with Matty Lee. And then Tom went on a break after those games. So then you and Matty dived the synchro together and you won the Commonwealth Games, which was an incredible result. And then Tom announces his coming back. Yeah. So both you and Matty knew that one of you was essentially going to be dropped from the synchro pair. Do you remember how you felt at that news?
I actually wasn't too sad because like I had like lots of messages once he announced he was coming back being like, oh, like, how do you feel and stuff. So like, I only kind of thought about it because I was getting people asking me, but like, it was like, I can't blame him for coming back. Like, and first of all, I was like, even if he comes back, and realistically, I knew he was going to be better than me. So it's like, I can't, like, it's not like I'm going to be like, oh, sad, like he's taking my place. He's not. If he's better than me, he deserves to go, is how I look at it. Like, it's not like, you're not just giving out Olympic places. Like, that would make the Olympics so much less special if people are like, okay, he went to the last Olympics, you get to go to the next one. It doesn't work like that.
Yeah.
So I actually wasn't sad or anything. I was just...
You're quite pragmatic.
Yeah, it is what it is. Hopefully I can still be good enough to get into the team, was kind of my thinking.
Yeah, and then Matty and Tom were kind of diving together, weren't they? But then obviously Matty got injured, which helped the coaching decision significantly. And so you and Tom started diving together. But do you remember at that point feeling any kind of guilt or anything that Matty had then been injured and you were back in? Was that a challenge, or you were still fine?
No, it was tough. So Matty and Tom only started, well, in my opinion anyway, they only started in synchro because I had the surgery. So I was not diving. So like, there's no point waiting for me to get back to try out everybody. And then, like you said, like as I kind of recovered, Matty then got injured. So I did, not a guilt, maybe the wrong word. I felt bad for Matty, and I felt really sad because like getting injured on an Olympic year is tough because like, it wasn't just, oh, he's out the synchro team now. It was then he was too injured to even try and compete individually. So he's just not going. Yeah. So no, I did feel for him, but it wasn't really guilt because like, it's not like I injured him. Like, I didn't get a baseball bat and hit. Yeah, it wasn't my fault. So no, there were obviously feelings there because Matty's my friend, but guilt, probably not guilt.
Yeah, and the three of you, so you, Tom, Matty, you do seem to all have a genuine friendship and all like each other. How important do you think that is in the synchro aspect of diving?
I think it's so important. You really can't do synchro properly, I think, without a friendship, because you have to, or even if it's not friendship, you have to respect and trust them. Because like I said, you have to trust them to be able to focus on yourself. Because if I'm on the board, like doing a front 4.5, thinking, oh, is Tom's going to be good? And then I'm not thinking about myself, and mine probably won't go well. So you have to be able to trust him, be like, okay, he's going to do a good one. I now have to perform myself and do what I can do. And you have to trust them to go when they say go. So like all these little things like add up, but having a friendship definitely helps it and makes it easier.
Yeah. And then, so you made it to Paris, and congratulations on those 2 amazing medals. I was actually sat poolside for your individual event. And that was one of the highlight of the games for me. It was amazing watching you get that medal. And the week before, you'd obviously won a silver alongside Tom. Now, you are a born and bred Londoner. We were just discussing you grew up down the road from here in Hackney. So were you sat poolside at the London 2012 Olympics watching Tom and thinking, oh, one day I might dive with him and get an Olympic medal together?
I was not thinking that. No. I was on so I watched him like in person for synchro, and then I think he came 4th in London. But at no point was I thinking, oh, I might do synchro with him one day or anything. No,
that
like
never crossed your mind.
No, not even the slightest. I don't know why.
Yeah, that's quite funny.
I wasn't, but when I started diving, I didn't start to like become an Olympian. I wasn't really one of the kids who was like I'm pretty sure Matty's dream, and Tom's definitely, the dream was to go to the Olympics and like win a medal. I just started for fun. And then eventually it became to a point where it's like, well, I've invested too much into this. I have to try and go to the Olympics now. But no, that wasn't really me. And I don't know why it wasn't, because I'm quite competitive. Yeah,
interesting. I imagine you must have had a transition then when you got good enough and you thought, right, now I'm going to aim to get that Olympic medal.
Yeah, it definitely came at some, but I just genuinely can't remember when. Like, it obviously happened at some point, but when I started, I genuinely was just there for fun and to enjoy it.
Yeah, that's really nice. And what do you feel now about those Olympic medals? Because people come and sit and talk to me about post-Olympic blues, etc. Where are you at with all of that? How are you feeling?
I feel pretty good thinking about them. I was obviously happy with them. I don't think I had the post-Olympic blues, really. I'm trying to think. I don't really think I did. I like had some stuff planned, so like Kilimanjaro. Well, actually, I say we planned that after, but like the plan was coming together in the Olympics when we were in the village board. Me and Jack started talking about it. But I think I also was expecting my life not to change from the Olympics, because I'd seen Matty obviously win gold, and he came back and he had like 2 months where it's hectic. You're going to so many events. He's getting like paid promoted. He obviously went on I'm a Celeb. And then he came back and then life's normal, you know what I mean? And because I had seen that, and because I was close with Matty at that time, because that's when we were doing synchro, I kind of knew what to expect. So when I came back and I had like go to film premieres or whatever, I knew it was all going to end at some point. And maybe people might be like, oh, so pessimistic, but like it wasn't. I was just being realistic. It was just like managing expectations. And like it was good for me mentally to know I'm not like, after I won those medals, I was like, oh, I'm not the next Tom Daley or anything. Like he is one of a kind and special, and like him becoming a household name as a diver will probably not happen again. You know, like I said, it's not a big sport.
Yeah. So why do you think that did happen with Tom, but it hasn't happened with other divers?
One of the reasons might be because I met an agent like one time when it was before COVID, like literally just before. And they were like, oh, what's your story? And like, I was like, oh, well, you know, like I said, I started diving for fun. I was doing all of, and they were like, oh yeah, it's not really enough of a story. And they were like talking about Tom, and they were like, see, like his father passed away, and obviously he went to the Olympics at 14 and all this stuff. And I'm sure if he could change it, he wouldn't want, you know what I mean, his dad passed away. And like he was a big name before that, but like all those little things along the way, like going to an Olympics at 14, becoming world champion at 15.
Yeah.
And like when I was meeting the agent, when I was kind of getting good, I was 19. Not that it's too late because stuff changes, but he has a story, and it was like obviously broadcasted to the world because he was so young and stuff. So I think that's why.
Yeah, but you never wanted to be in the spotlight though, do you?
No, I don't want to be fair. I don't think I'm mentally cut out for it, like being judged so much.
So have you been enjoying like the film premieres and all of that, or is that too much in the spotlight for you?
No, it's not. Well, obviously for those, you just go and there's a red carpet, and sometimes I don't even take a photo there, which I probably shouldn't say, but because obviously that's what they invite you. But I just go and then it's like a free film.
Yeah.
But I'm not really a film guy, so I just go because it's like a free trip to the cinema.
Nice.
Yeah.
So like I made reference in the introduction, the journey hasn't actually been easy for you the whole way through. And I feel we can't have this long chat without mentioning your coach, Dave, who tragically passed away in 2021. And you made an emotional tribute to him after winning your medals in Paris. And I just wanted to ask how much he was on your mind throughout that competition.
Not too much in synchro until after, but in individual, like I don't know why every comp in individual, I'd always like be thinking about him like constantly during the event. So yeah, that's my answer. Yeah,
because you dedicated your win to him, didn't you? And did I read that you got a tattoo dedicated to?
Yeah, I've got
Dave
a tattoo, but I got that after. So I got that after he passed away.
Okay.
So it was a new one, but
yeah,
that's kind of what started the trend.
Tattoo.
Yeah.
Which one is Dave's?
This one.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, but then because that's what he said he was going to get a tattoo. Well, that's what he told me. Like some people said different stuff, but that's what I remember. So that's what I got. But like then I saw like it was just like an Insta post. It wasn't even like that. I mean, this is after I got it, and it was like, I don't know the exact quote, but it's like, dead people get flowers like more than people who are alive or something. And the quote was trying to be like, like tell people you love them while they're still alive. So then that's why I've started getting like tattoos for like family members and stuff to like, because I'm not emotional, but I'm not very good at showing my emotions a lot of the time. So it's like kind of my way of being like, like I'll get something permanent to show you that I really care for you.
Yeah. And for anyone listening, not watching, Noah's got lots of little icons on his arms, little pictures. And when I used to treat Noah, I used to really enjoy asking, because each of them does have a little story, doesn't it? And they all, like you said, are kind of dedicated to different people. Do you have a favourite?
I'll probably have to say this is for Dave, especially now.
What is it?
It's from Crash Bandicoot. And I'm pretty sure if you get like this little like floating head, you get like an extra life, and then if you get 3 of them, you're like invincible for a little bit.
Oh wow!
But I actually tried playing Crash, and it was one of those games that are like so annoying because you die all the time. It's like,
what is it, a PS4 game or something?
Well, when he played it was probably, I don't know, like
a Game Boy
or something. I had no clue.
GameCube.
But yeah, no, I played it on PS4, and not that I didn't like it. It's just a frustrating game. I could tell you that for nothing.
You've also talked openly in interviews about the challenges you've had with your mental health. What drove you to talk about that, and how are you doing now with it, having a break from diving?
Nothing really drove. Like, I never spoke about it until I got asked, and I like was always kind of one of those people that I wouldn't lie. There's no point lying about it. So I never came out myself and was like, I'm depressed. That would be kind of weird, I think. But no, yeah, one guy asked me about it. It was after synchro. And so then I just answered him.
What, they just asked you outright?
Yeah.
Do you have any mental health challenges or something?
Maybe.
Okay.
Like it was something along those lines.
Quite blunt.
Yeah. But no, yeah, I'm doing better now. I think like an Olympic cycle, and like I said, I wasn't drinking and eating chocolate, and all those stuff is healthy. So it's probably people, and you know, like when people say, oh, these are the best things to combat depression, it's like, you know, working out every day, eating healthy. And I had to do all those things as my job. So it was clearly not working for me. But like, it's also just so mentally taxing trying to do well in the Olympics. Like like you have a bad day, and it's like having one chance every 4 years is so tough. And like you could be really good 1 year, and then the next, like on the day of the competition, it could just not come together. So maybe it was like too related to diving, I don't know, but having a break was always going to be good. It's not like, oh, diving's the issue. Like, I know that's not the case, but like just having a break post diving is so far really helped me, which is good.
Yeah. So do you think when you go back to diving, you're going to have more clarity into how to stay kind of healthier mentally?
I hope so. But also I feel like now I've got 2 Olympic medals, and like I've done, like I said, it was my dream, but like I've done everything I can in the sport. Like I know it's not a gold medal I've got, but like I've done more than I thought I would in the sport. I've medaled at every event. Like I said, even if it's not a gold, I could quit and be happy with what I've done. So like if going back to diving at any point, I'm like, you know what, it's not for me, it's too much. I feel like I've then got the option where it's not like you're forced to be then. It's like, oh, you know, don't give in now, you know what I mean?
Yeah, so the pressure's massively off.
Yeah, exactly.
So now it really becomes about enjoying it.
Yeah, so if I ever went back, I'd want to enjoy the next cycle more.
Yeah, and we've talked about it before. It's a long cycle. It's 4 years. Yeah. But if you go back, and I suppose the elephant in the room is, are you definitely going back?
Oh, I'm going to try, but I don't know, like, we'll see. But I'm going to try and go back and see how good I am. Like we said, it was a lot of physical toll. So now I'm older, maybe it will be too much for me.
You're only a year older.
Yes. Yeah, but by then I'll be 4 years. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I was already getting surgery, so can't be getting more.
Oh, no, definitely not. But the pressure's off. So, you know, I find that so interesting as well. You're going to go back, hopefully, and you're going to enjoy it. And it'll be really interesting to see what happens with your results. And, you know, there's 2 things. Will you stay as driven?
Yeah, I mean, I think I will, because I wouldn't want to go back, enjoy it, but like go to every comp coming 8th. And there's nothing wrong with coming 8th, but like if I went back, like even with trying to enjoy it, I'd want to still be at least fighting for medals.
Yeah.
And like even if I'm not, like I barely medaled individually, like the Olympics was like a one-off, but like I was always close or like nearly there. So I'd want to at least be basically as good as I was, because otherwise I just wouldn't enjoy it.
Yeah, I'm sure you will be. But we've also mentioned the fact that in your break, you've done high rocks, you've climbed Kilimanjaro, you're doing the marathon, you went snowboarding. So you're trying all of these sports which you've never been able to do. Do you feel like you missed out at all on a normal childhood?
That's a good question, because I definitely did, but at the same time, like I wouldn't really change my childhood. Like, I mean, it's not many people in their childhood climbing Kilimanjaro, so I guess that doesn't really count. But like, diving is fairly sociable. Like, everyone's respectful. I'm friends with a lot of the divers. It's not one of those sports where like you hate who you're competing against, and it's too competitive to enjoy it. So
I love how there's so much respect amongst the divers.
Yeah,
I've always said that, you know, when someone does a good dive at training, everyone claps.
Yeah,
I think that's just amazing, because you're all basically competing against each other.
No, I mean, we are, and it like lots of people find it weird when I talk to them about it, but like when people are up there, like I'm hoping they do good for them. Like even if they do good and then they beat me, I'd rather that than be on the poolside being like, I hope they belly flop, you know what I mean? And I hope they feel the same way. And it seems like everyone in the diving world does. So like, I don't really feel like I missed out too much, because even though I wasn't with school friends a lot and I didn't have like a crazy sociable life in that part, but like it was just different, you know what I mean? Like normal just depends who you ask, doesn't it?
Yeah. It was normal for you.
Yeah.
And it's given you incredible opportunities.
Exactly.
Any of the sports that you've tried, are you like particularly good at?
No, awful. I was really bad at snowboarding.
No.
My teacher Molly was telling me I was good, and she was like, yeah, no, this is really impressive. But I didn't believe her. I think she's just saying that because, you know, she was the teacher, she was there. That's
funny, because a lot of the snowboard park athletes, I think they come from sports like gymnastics. So you've got the flipping and, you know, the somersaults, you can do all that.
I didn't get that far. But she said I was good enough to go on holiday, and that was the goal.
Okay.
Like, even though I can't if I go back to the line, but after, at least now I can book a holiday and not have to waste like the first 2 days doing lessons. Fine. I don't know how long it takes. But
you're not going to be at the Winter Olympics.
No, I wish. I actually was really hoping I was going to be really good, and I could be like, I can try and like, see what happens.
And are you a natural runner or not even?
No, not that one either.
Because that's quite different, because you're used to the short, sharp bursts of energy.
Yeah.
And then with this marathon training, it's very different.
I feel like like 100 meters I'm too slow. Trying to think what I might be good. Maybe triple jump. No, because they're quite tall, aren't they?
They need long legs.
Yeah, I wouldn't be good at anything athletics. I'm lying.
No, so just back to diving.
Yeah, pretty much. I was hoping I'd find something I was good at, so I can maybe try, but there's nothing.
I just wanted to ask you as well, we've talked about, you know, the incredible accomplishments you've had, but also the challenges. Are there any specific strategies you've used to overcome some of those challenges?
Ooh, that's good. Let me think. So when I was junior, and like one of the biggest challenges, like I said, like if I got called fat and stuff, there was like these times where like there was no qualification for internationals. Like that you'd turn up at the beginning of the season, they'd select, and then you'd have like qualification for one event, but the other comps they'd already go. And then even if I did well, they'd be like, oh, you're not as experienced as these other people, so we're going to send them anyway. And that happened like for a good few years. And I remember like thinking like, I can't get as experienced as them if I don't go and you don't send me. But they weren't having it. So like, it's just kind of plodding along, and not plod, but like the grit and keeping at it is all I can say. Like, because that was one of my biggest things, like trying to get on the team. Because once you get on the team, I think it's a lot easier to stay on the team. And especially if you go to an international, do well, you kind of keep getting picked again and again because they know you can perform.
Yeah.
So getting on the team was kind of my hardest, just in diving challenge.
Yeah.
But it just like, I'm quite competitive, like I said. So I knew if I would go to like the qualification, I would win. Even if I didn't get picked, eventually they'd be like, right, he's won so many times. So I was just competitive.
So you kept going. It's kind of like keep trying. Even if you fail, is get back up and go again.
Yeah, exactly.
No, final question that I ask all of my guests on the podcast. If you could go back in time to when things were at their toughest, what do you wish you could have told yourself as you were going through that hard time?
Oh, it's a good question. I actually don't know if I would have told myself anything, because like I'm here now without me obviously going back in time. That's probably a really rubbish answer because you want me to say something, but like I actually wouldn't.
No, I like that answer.
Because if I said anything, it would obviously change everything. And I've managed to get to this point now, so.
Yeah, and it's amazing. Thank you.
No problem.
Thank you so much for talking to us today. Your career so far has been just full of exceptional highs and some lows, but you have an amazing ability to stay so normal. And so likeable. So I hope we will see you back on the boards after the summer, and I'm sure that you will succeed in whatever you put your mind to. So thank you, Noah.
No, thank you for having me.